Well, that's a great question. I think most people in healthcare know who the MMS Group is, but if you're unfamiliar with our company, we're a consulting firm, and our specialty is to help healthcare organizations hire faster, smarter, and profitably. We also help them attract really hard to find talent, and we increase their capacity to recruit more in a lot less time. Our headquarters is here in the healthcare capital of the world, Nashville, Tennessee, and we have been in business since 2006. RPX stands for Recruitment Process Acceleration. It's our process, and it's a process that helps accomplish the goal of allowing companies to be smarter about who they hire, get to the top talent they need a lot faster, and to do it all a lot more profitably. With RPX, companies can leverage our expertise, they can leverage our knowledge, they can leverage our network of candidates, and more specifically, they can leverage our technology platform. They can only use the parts that they just need that will meet their unique challenges to attract and hire talents. And we can do all that for a fixed fee that meets their budget. It's a customized service that is just a fraction of the cost of what traditional recruiting would usually be. This is a question that I get asked frequently. There are actually 24 specific differences between RPX and traditional recruiting. In fact, we created a chart that you can download from our website. But I think the two broad differences between RPX and the way companies go about recruiting now is this. Number one, it's the use of technology. It's the use of technology to make it a faster and better informed decisions about who you're going to hire. It utilizes a digital interview platform, and our clients tell us that they can get through and screen candidates as much as 10 times faster than they did before. Also, the second broad difference that I would want to mention is the cost structure. First of all, to think about RPX, you need to forget about everything you know for traditional recruiting and traditional recruiting fees. RPX is a process that's customized for the part of the recruiting process that any organization needs to leverage more effectively. And therefore, it becomes an investment in growing the company rather than just a hiring expense. I encourage you to download the chart and you'll see all 24 differences between RPX and traditional recruiting. Well, at the core of RPX is the digital interview platform. You think about that as the central hub, and all the other activities around RPX rotate or move around that core. Now, when a company embarks or engages us in an RPX project, we'll create a portal online for that company to use for their digital interviews. The candidates can complete these interviews 24/7 on demand. They love it. It's great, really convenient for them, very easy. It also assures them they're getting a consistent set of questions that every other candidate is getting. The company can also evaluate those digital interviews on a 24/7 basis. Hiring managers can go in at their convenience as their time permits, or the HR team to review and evaluate the digital interviews. What this does, it eliminates that antiquated phone screen, that call that wastes so much time and is usually not really that productive. So you get to see the candidate, you get to hear the candidate, and you only spend time interviewing the candidates that you like, the ones that have the closest match to the job that you're trying to hire for. In addition to the digital interviewing platform, the company can also leverage our social media resources, our advertising resources, our posting resources, which are frankly very substantial. At a higher level of the RPX process, one of our team members can work exclusively hand in hand with the company's team to attract, to screen, to interview candidates, to follow up, really do all that legwork so that the interview team is only focused, only spending time with the candidates that are going to make the most sense moving forward in the hiring process. So the company can hire who they want, they can hire as many people as they need, and it's all for just one fixed investment. Well, I get this question a lot. Why would you use RPX? Well, there are a lot of reasons why RPX makes sense, but let me just list a few. If you have to screen a large number of candidates in a very compressed time frame, a very short period of time. Another reason is if you only want to focus on the candidates that apply and that are the strongest match possible, RPX could be a great help in that situation. If you need more timely feedback from a hiring team on candidates, if you have a small hiring budget but you need outside help and just can't afford traditional recruiting fees, or you don't have it budgeted for traditional recruiting fees, RPX makes a lot of sense. If you're in a situation where you want to be sure that your company, your brand is represented consistently in the employment marketplace, then you should consider RPX. If you don't want to manage multiple outside hiring agencies, if you want to speed up the hiring process, if you want to position your organization as a technology adopter, a technology innovator, if you have a fixed amount that can only be budgeted toward resources in hiring, if you have hiring managers in multiple locations that need to collaborate and build consensus about candidates quickly, all of those are reasons why an organization would want to use RPX. Well, there are several situations where our clients have found RPX to be the best solution. One of them is when they have, again, to hire a large number of people in a short period of time. Sometimes when they have a new department or a new location that they have to bring up to speed from a personnel standpoint very quickly. Other companies have a need to build a bench or a pool of qualified candidates that they're constantly hiring from that they can go back to, so that the recruiting isn't an event that happens haphazardly. They have a pool of pre-qualified candidates ready to dip into. If a company has a critical position and they have a global hiring team across time zones or continents, RPX is a great solution when that's necessary. We found that companies really like using the RPX process for customer service and sales positions because you get to engage with the candidate before you ever pick up the phone and talk with them. We've created and run virtual career fairs for organizations using it, and on-site career fairs. It makes a lot of sense even for on-site career fairs. And there are other times when a company would want to use RPX, but that's just a few to give you an example of what they'd be like. A digital interview might be new technology or a new phrase for some people. Others have been using them for a while. But the digital interview is really the best way to get to know a candidate before you see a resume or you waste time in a phone screen. What happens is the candidate logs into a secure portal that is set up for your company. The candidate completes a series of your questions, answering those questions on video. They can answer by typing in a response. They can pick from multiple choice, yes, no. Really, it's the question and the interview is really customized by the company. Candidates don't see the questions in advance. They pop up on the screen and they have to respond just like they would do in a face-to-face interview. Candidates can do these digital interviews on demand. That means at any time, anywhere, any place that's convenient for them. And we hear over and over that candidates love how convenient this is. The other thing that candidates like about digital interviews is the consistency. They know that they're answering the same questions that anybody else is answering, which is why this process has an EEOC compliance approval. Candidates can do the digital interview with a webcam. They can do it with a laptop, a smartphone, a tablet. There's no software needed, no special equipment. They have no files they have to upload or edit or anything like that. They just log in and they can start the interview in a very, very short period of time. Now, once that digital interview is completed, the designated people at the company, part of the hiring team, let's say, they automatically receive an email that says you have an interview to evaluate. And then digital interviews can be evaluated at their convenience, 24/7. They can do it on a desktop, a laptop, smartphone, tablet. I've had clients tell us that they review the digital interviews while they're in the airport, in between flights on their tablet or their laptop. One client who says he likes to watch them while he's watching a ball game on his laptop, and he can get through them, during the commercials. I mean, it's just very, very convenient for everybody involved. Multiple evaluators also. If you have multiple people evaluating candidates about who you're going to bring into the company, they can rate individual questions or individual candidates. They can type in their own comments about it. And you can even have a composite rating across a slate of candidates to determine who you're actually going to spend time with. Digital interviewing is recruiting for the 21st century, and it's really become almost a must-have device and process in any organization. Whenever we've done a demonstration for a company unfamiliar with digital interviews, this question comes up every time. What if candidates don't want to do a digital interview? What do candidates think about it? Well, like any new technology, there's a small percentage of candidates that are going to be intimidated by it, that don't have a webcam or whatever it might be. And here's how our clients have responded to that. They've said that if in today's environment, with everybody and the prevalence of webcams, with the prevalence of smartphones, tablets, if a candidate is not resourceful enough or enthusiastic enough about an opportunity to go out and borrow a webcam or borrow a tablet to do a short digital interview, well, they've decided that's probably not the right individual for their organization. But there is a small percentage that are somewhat intimidated by the new technology. However, most candidates are overwhelmingly enthusiastic about digital interviews. They like the convenience of it. They like the consistency of it. And they like the professional 21st century feel of the digital interview and of the company who is progressive enough to utilize technology in this way. But don't just take my word for it. Take a minute here and listen to what other candidates have said in their own words about digital interviews.
And I like the fact that it was extremely flexible for someone like me who has a tight schedule. It allowed me to be able to do the interview at my own time.
I think it raises you above the traditional resume in that it puts a face with the resume. A lot of people, I think, when they're looking for someone in the job market, the paper resume they all kind of blend together. But with the digital profile, all of a sudden they're able to put a face with the background, a face with the passion, and more than, and maybe that sounds like a cliche, but they're able to hear in someone's voice and their inflection what they really feel, and the feeling and their background and where they want to go with their career.
The questions were clear, in which it allowed me to provide a summarized response within the allotted time.
I positioned it as though I was sitting across the table from a live interview, and which I preferred as opposed to putting words on paper.
Overall, I thought the experience was positive. There wasn't anything that I did not like about it, because I thought overall it was very flexible and it really targeted highlights of what was needed in order to support my qualifications to the job description.
Well, first, RPX is not about video interviewing. That's just a technology that is enabling the process in Recruitment Process Xcceleration, or RPX. RPX is a service that creates the means for companies to hire faster, smarter, and profitably. Now, some companies use Skype or they use other similar services, and if they are, they should keep using those if that works for them. Our platform does enable live interviews via video, but in some differences that they can also be recorded. I know in some services you can't record videos. The digital interview would be used before you invested the time in a live video interview. Have you ever been in a video interview or ever started an interview and you knew within 90 seconds you probably were not going to ever hire this person? Well, RPX would eliminate that from ever happening. It would add hours to your week. So if video interviewing is working for you, then that is a great complement to the RPX service. Well, of course, you can talk to candidates live. This is not intended to ever replace a face-to-face or a live meeting with a candidate that you can engage with and interact with. RPX, however, is a process where you'll only end up talking to candidates that you really want to talk to. That means no more phone tag, no more wasted interview time. You're going to be eliminating tons of travel and interviewing costs. In fact, the only candidates you'll talk to are the ones that you would actually consider hiring. Plus, if you're not using video interviewing now, then you can do so through the RPX platform. There's nothing to download and there's no expensive gear that you would need to buy. Well, I don't think it costs anything, actually. That's why it makes hiring more profitable. It actually puts money back on the bottom line. So think about it this way. RPX adds hours back to your week. It reduces many of the interviewing costs. It reduces travel costs. It eliminates mishires. It reduces outside agency costs. It speeds up the hiring process. It keeps managers more productive. All that is money that's going out the door right now if you're not using RPX that could stop leaving the company. So in that sense, RPX can actually make you money. But do the math. You can start an RPX project for as little as $399 a month. Compare that investment to the savings that you would gain by having this process in place. You can't help but coming out on top. Hey, the key word I want to use to answer this question is unlimited. You can have an unlimited number of positions. You can use RPX with an unlimited number of candidates, and you can hire an unlimited number of people. You've got to forget about traditional agency recruiting. This is not 1995. It's one set monthly investment and unlimited possibilities. Well, the answer to this question is yes. And that is the real power of RPX. RPX is fully compatible, fully customizable to your hiring process. Most of our candidates blend the capabilities of RPX with their internal resources to create a very, very powerful capability. Thanks for taking the time to watch this FAQ video and learning about RPX. I'm so convinced that RPX can help your organization hire faster, smarter, more profitably that I'm willing to prove it for free. Send an email to the address below. Say you want to try RPX free for 30 days, no obligation. Put in the special code that you wrote down during the FAQ video, and we'll send you the info on how to get started. Take advantage of this special offer. You'll see how RPX is changing the way healthcare hires.